The formula appeared on the whiteboard like a quiet miracle. Chalk dust still floating in the air, numbers aligned with a precision that made the entire room fall silent. The CEO of one of the country's most powerful tech firms froze mid-step, her confident posture breaking for the first time that day, as a small girl in a faded sweater lifted her hand and calmly pointed across the room toward a man holding a mop. In that moment, surrounded by executives, investors, and cameras, a single unspoken question shattered everything she thought she understood about success, intelligence, and worth. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of unseen heroes, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that greatness often hides where no one thinks to look. The day had started like any other high-profile corporate visit. The CEO had arrived at the Public Innovation Academy to promote a new scholarship initiative. Her tailored suit immaculate, her reputation flawless, her confidence sharpened by years of boardrooms and billion-dollar decisions. Cameras followed her steps as she toured classrooms filled with students from struggling backgrounds, children who reminded her of the life she believed she had escaped forever. She smiled for photographs, nodded at rehearsed explanations, and prepared herself for the highlight of the visit, a demonstration of advanced problem-solving by selected students. It was meant to prove that her funding worked, that opportunity paired with leadership always delivered results. The classroom was small and imperfect, paint peeling near the windows, desks uneven. But the children inside were alert, their eyes bright with something raw and hopeful. At the back of the room stood a janitor, quietly sweeping, careful not to interrupt. His uniform was old, his shoes worn thin, his presence nearly invisible to everyone, except the students who smiled at him as if he belonged there more than anyone else. He kept his head down, moving with the practiced humility of someone used to being ignored. When the challenge was written on the board, a complex mathematical formula that even seasoned engineers found demanding, murmurs rippled through the room. The CEO watched with polite curiosity, already expecting hesitation, perhaps failure, followed by a speech about perseverance. Then something unexpected happened. A little girl, no more than 8 years old, slowly raised her hand. She stood, walked to the board, and began writing. Her movements were steady, confident, almost serene. Each step of the formula unfolded with elegant clarity, no hesitation, no correction. By the time she finished, the solution stood complete, flawless, undeniable. The room erupted in stunned silence. The CEO stepped closer, heart pounding, eyes narrowing as she scanned the board again and again, searching for a mistake that wasn't there. This was not memorization. This was understanding at a level she rarely saw even among her top hires. Her gaze dropped to the child, curiosity sharpening into disbelief. She asked how she had learned this, expecting a name, a program, a mentor she could applaud and fund. Instead, the girl turned and pointed, not to a teacher, not to a textbook, but to the janitor at the back of the room, frozen mid-sweep, eyes wide with fear and confusion. The world seemed to tilt. The man had never planned to be noticed. Years earlier, he had been a brilliant mathematics student, the first in his family to reach university, until life collapsed under the weight of hospital bills, a sick wife, and a system that offered no mercy for those who fell behind. He left school, took whatever work he could find, and learned to survive quietly. After his wife passed, it was just him and his daughter, clinging to each other in a city that never slowed down for grief. He took the janitor job at the academy because it paid just enough and allowed him to be close to her. At night, after she slept, he would scribble equations on scrap paper, solving problems not because anyone asked him to, but because it reminded him of who he once was. His daughter had watched him, she had listened. While other children slept, she sat beside him at the kitchen table, feet dangling, absorbing ideas that felt like stories, not lessons. To her, math was not fear or failure. It was comfort. It was time with her father. As the truth sank in, the CEO felt something crack inside her chest. She saw not a janitor, but a reflection of a version of herself she had buried long ago. She too had come from nothing, taught herself late into the night, fought invisibility with excellence. Somewhere along the way, success had hardened her, taught her to look up and forward, never down or back. Standing in that classroom, she realized how many people she had stepped past without seeing. The visit ended early. Cameras were dismissed. The scripted speeches forgotten. The CEO requested a private meeting with the school administration and then, quietly, with the janitor and his daughter. Fear gripped him as he sat across from her in an office far nicer than any room he had cleaned. He expected reprimand, maybe termination for teaching without permission. Instead, he found himself seen. Over the following weeks, change rippled outward. The academy received new funding, not for branding, but for teachers, resources, and student support. A special mentorship program was created, pairing overlooked staff with students who showed curiosity beyond the curriculum. The janitor was offered a chance to complete his degree, fully funded, with flexible hours and childcare support. He resisted at first, ashamed, uncertain, but his daughter's eyes burned with pride, and that was enough. The CEO did something else no one expected. She delayed a major product launch and redirected company resources toward internal education initiatives, scholarships for employees' families, and hiring practices that valued potential as much as pedigree. At shareholder meetings, she spoke openly about intelligence being everywhere, but opportunity not. Some investors scoffed, others listened. The company stock dipped briefly, then rose higher than before, fueled by loyalty, innovation, and a culture reborn. The little girl became a symbol, though she never asked to be one. She continued attending school, still wearing her faded sweater, still smiling shyly when praised. But now, when she raised her hand, she did so knowing her voice mattered. Her father walked the halls not with a mop, but with books under his arm, posture straighter, steps lighter, finally allowed to dream again. Years later, when the CEO stood on a stage announcing a nationwide education reform partnership, she told a story she would never forget. Not of profit margins or market dominance, but of a whiteboard, a child, and a man everyone ignored. She spoke of the moment she froze, because for the first time in decades, she was forced to confront a simple, devastating truth. Brilliance does not wear uniforms of status. It wears whatever life hands it. If this story is touching your heart, if it's making you think about the people you pass every day without noticing, please take a moment now to like this video, share it, and let us know in the comments how it made you feel. Your engagement helps stories like this reach others who need them. Before this video ends, we have a special request for you. Comment one word that describes what this story stirred inside you. Hope, gratitude, reflection, change. Your words matter more than you know. The world did not change overnight. There were still systems stacked against the invisible, still doors locked by privilege and fear. But in one classroom on one ordinary day, a formula rewritten by a child reminded those watching that the future is often taught in whispers, not boardrooms. And sometimes, the people cleaning up behind us are the ones quietly holding the answers we've been searching for all along.